Hey folks, AJ the CEO here, and we have finished wrapping up our live stream that we normally do every Friday, and we ended up getting a bunch of stuff today. So I am jumping and merging a couple of videos together. So right now we have the intercom viewer. This is something I'm going to actually be installing at Epworth United Methodist Church in Baltimore, and then we got a stand for that, so we'll be doing that video later. But the main thing we're going to be doing today is we were helping out New Canaan Worship Center. We did a on-site with them and helped them out with some stuff that they had with their live stream a couple of years ago in Richmond, and I suggested some stuff to them when I was first there. And it looks like we're in the process of helping them. They have a old analog mixer that a couple of jacks weren't working and some other stuff like that was going on, and I made a suggestion to them. Now, the reason I'm going to talk about this in detail is because I have a bunch of other churches that will remain nameless for right now until we bring them up, that I have suggested moving their analog board to a digital board, but they have some concerns, some preconceived notions, and honestly some non-truths about what digital boards offer. I've had some people saying that digital boards were inferior to analog and a bunch of stuff, but again, a lot of them have never even messed with an analog board at all. Anyway, I say all that to just document what I'm doing and get in the mindset of why I suggest that. So what we have for them, we have the full-size X32. This is what we're going to be installing. Personally, I would have done the compact with a snake because they do have 24 channels. So the compact only allows 16 inputs, and you need to pair it with a snake so that you can have other connections. But that was back ordered. So we ended up going with, it was like a $50 difference. So we went with the full size that gives us 32 connections, and we have 16 outs on the back of the board. So we'll be able to take out their old 24 channel mixer, analog mixer, and completely put this in place, and we don't really have to change anything. We don't have to run a snake. We don't have to do anything like that. But a snake could be in the future to help them out with other connections that are on the pulpit. So we're going to be heading over there. I'm going to meet them at the church at 4 o'clock. I got about an hour before I got to head that direction. But I want to take you along with the process and just show you the advantages. Because one of the main advantages is the fact that they have some issues with their routing. So dynamically, we can just go through the console and route different sounds, different channels to mixes for either the entrance, the live stream, the pulpit, the band, the choir. It gives a lot of dynamic that at a press of a button that you can change that instead of going back and disconnecting and rerouting and running another snake here and running another analog snake there. It also gives the ability that we can hook this thing up and it can be controlled from a tablet. If somebody's not upstairs, instead of having to run upstairs to the second floor to the balcony to control the sound, we hook it up on the network. We can control that with other tools that are available with Boxcast and stuff like that. You can even remotely mix your entire church's sound, which I need to do a video about that. Maybe I'll bring on the Boxcast folks and talk to them about it and let them talk about it instead of me trying to talk about it. But it just opens up a lot of other features. It also gives another interface through the X32 Edit so that you have somebody controlling the board, but then somebody can be remotely connected through a tablet or a computer and they can control the mix. I do this when I'm there, and that's the reason why I kind of did that board at Antioch and a bunch of other places. Somebody can be monitoring the live stream with headphones on, and now they have a software mixer to mix specifically for the live stream, and then somebody physically in front of the board can mix for the house. So it gives a lot of advantages to it. So anyway, let me load this up in the car and get the car warmed up because it did snow last night. And let's get up to the road, get up to the church. We get this set up, and we're going to be installing everything today, labeling everything, getting all that stuff configured. But then after that, tomorrow, we're going to be back at 10 and we're going to actually train them. We want to put this in place and get everything working where I'm going to be sitting in at choir rehearsal to get it kind of dialed in and label everything appropriately and get the sound and output and all that other fun stuff. And then we'll be back, like I said, Saturday to train everybody on them, and then they'll go right into Sunday using the new board. So let's do that, and we'll see you at the church. Alrighty folks, here we go. Let's get inside and let's upgrade them to a new digital mixer. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is this their existing board. We want to mimic everything that they have right here because it's going to be just a lateral move right now. However it's connected on the back of here, we're just going to move it here, and we just want to label everything here because yeah, we're going to go through labeling every single channel, but why not leverage what we have right now? Also here, they're auxes, so we're going to make these separate mix buses so they have pulpit, choir, drums, and keys. Ultimately in the future, I believe they're going to go with some in-ears, but we're going to mimic this right now because it's going to be just out with the old, in with the new. Then we'll start tuning and setting up everything else, and these are the main volumes for those things. So again, we got 32 channels. I'm going to make a lateral move with here so we'll be able to plug in everything the same way. You just got to eyeball everything back here and move it the same way over. So right now we are going through and just labeling and identifying each instrument. So far we've got the keys mic, the keys, the kick, and we're just working our way through. We were doing the wired mics, which are down here, but I think we don't have them connected. But the back of this is actually locked, so I can't get back there to open up to see what cable it is. I'm going to look for a key to get in there, and then, I mean, worst case, I just have to go get my drill and take this out from the front and then chase the cable to see which one it is. Well, all right, folks, so we got the initial stuff set up. We got the board set up. We have to do some more work to isolate the sound and everything. I was able to get the mixes for the pulpit, for the choir. We're able to isolate the sound, but, I mean, it was like an interesting menagerie of cables downstairs. So right now there's no true left and right in here. Everything is going to the center speakers and everywhere else. So we're going to be back tomorrow to do some training with them, but I think the main thing we're going to do is probably come back and do a split with everything, go back through and do some wiring and some adjusting for them. And then relabeling a bunch of stuff because we also got rid of a bunch of things that we're not using. This was an old in-ear system that they're not being used, so actually I can pull that out. We pulled out the other, this was a combined wireless mic set that wasn't being used, so we took that out as well. We're going to be back tomorrow to do some training, dial in the sound because we set up everybody individually because we didn't have enough people to go through all the mics. But I think that's about it. I am going to stop and get me some food on the way home. And we will be back here tomorrow at 10. And we'll go from there. All right, good morning, folks. We are back here at New Canaan. We've been doing a little bit of work this morning. We were able to identify the other podium mic. And I did a test on some other jacks so that we can reverse them. They were 1/4-inch ones, so we wanted to separate the drum and the keyboard mix. The line tested fine, but I'm not getting anything on it. So we're going to have to adjust that later. Also, yesterday, they have some subwoofers, but it looked like, whoever was here before me, they disconnected them. So we're going to have to come back and retest some lines, get the subwoofers on a separate mix and put the low ranges of certain channels like the kick, the bass, the keys, maybe the computer, some other stuff that's going to have in that low frequency to send to the subs so we can get the subs back working. We're going to have to come back and identify and test every single line because right now All of the speakers in here are sending everything, so there is no true stereo sound. There's no left and no right, no middle. We got everything up and running just so that service will be fine, but to really dial it in to get everything that we have, we need a little bit more time for that. Which honestly, the good thing is the amps are directly under us, so there's a hole in the floor. um, thinking about just getting two 25 30-foot XLRs, run out of the main left and right, drop that down, separate all the speakers, relabel the amps, because some of the amps, they're labeled a certain way but the same speakers are not coming out of what's been labeled. So we'll run the house off of the main, left and right channels 1 and 2, so we can get sound to left and right. And it's not important, but it is, because right now if somebody plugged in a stereo instrument into the system, you would only hear the left channel, you wouldn't hear the right channel at all. That is what's not connected at all. So again, not a big deal, because even when I hook my keyboard up, I come out mono, so it sends the same thing, so it doesn't matter. But we want to get that done. Everybody is here. I'm just waiting for everybody to come up here, so we're going to do some training. I have a hard stop at 1, so I can get back home for a consultation, but we will be back to do some more in-depth training with them. I pointed them to a channel, and I've recommended this guy. I've never met him personally, but I get a lot of information from him. Drew Brasher does a lot of in-depth training on all types of mixers, not just the X32, a bunch of them, the Wing, the SQ5, 6, things like that. So recommended that to them. We're going to be following up with some training as well, and we'll be back to re-identify and relabel a bunch of cables and get them all organized, get all the extra stuff that's been sitting there that's not being used at all, just get all of that stuff out of there, clean and reorganize, do some cable management, and identify everything, get the subs straight, have a separate keyboard and drum mix, and then true stereo sound. So that's what we back, and just trying to get my head straight so we can teach on how to use the boards so they'll be comfortable there, because they're going to have choir rehearsal here in a little bit as well, so we can really dial in the mics with everybody here instead of us doing one-offs. But anyway, let's get up here and let's train them on how to use their new board. Alright folks, I think that's about it. We're about ready to get on the road. Got to get back home to do a consultation. But again, New Canaan, thank you very much. And like I said, I think the benefits of going with a digital mixer really kind of outweigh the learning curve. And I understand it's a learning curve. Some people are kind of cautious of, like, they don't want to learn anything new, but it gives so many different advantages to leverage the technology, being able to control it separately, give yourself multiple boards that can be controlled for different zones, makes it easy, and it hands it off responsibility to do a mix for the live stream separately, and it's, instead of expecting one person to do it blind. That's another benefit, being able to control it through an iPad. That's another thing that I like about it as well too. Again, I want to thank Patrick, my point of contact at Sweetwater, always getting me this stuff quick, fast, in a hurry, with the time frame that we needed. And again, New Canaan, thank you very much. If you ever needed any help, know that you can book a consultation. Go to ajhomes.com/consultations, or you can email me at questions@ajhomes.com. Just know, if me and you go back and forth with multiple emails, I would highly recommend that you book a consultation, because the emails are going to be dependent on if I'm in front of my computer. So I might not always be able to answer that. But again, thank you so much, New Canaan. And if you like this type of content, appreciate a like, consider subscribing, hit that bell, the way you get notified when we come out with other videos to help modernize your media ministry. Thanks for watching, folks. It's AJ. Catch you on the next video. Later.